Well, hello everyone. I want to welcome you to our Pre-ReSolutions webinar. This webinar is being recorded by myself, Melanie Hayden-Sparks, the founder of H3O, to give you an opportunity to have a little preparation for not only yourself, but also so you can get comfortable with what's going to be happening at your upcoming resolutions program that you have registered for. So we want to get you ready so that you're walking into your very special day ready to take a good look at your life, figure out where you want to get going, and help us to help you get where you want to go. So let's take a closer look at what we're really about. Resolutions is a very new and unique type of program, and really we don't think it's a program. It's more of a community. That's why we call ourselves chapters, and there's at least one chapter being developed in every major center throughout North America, and we're looking forward to expanding that as well. And we really are a new type of community. One of the things we've recognized is that our people are very detached, and through Heart, Health, and Home, one of our other divisions, we are looking at getting people together for small workshops, which are really brainstorming sessions that people can do in their homes to get people connected and really get talking, because we truly are each other's greatest resource. So what we're doing in Resolutions is we're giving you an opportunity to be even more supportive and inspiring to each other, and to be an even greater resource as we get together every 90 days and share where we're going, what's happening, keep each other accountable on track, and give each other great ideas, and of course inspiration and encouragement. The other thing that's really special about us is we're one part personal development, one part community, but we're also one part community service organization as well. We've asked each chapter to have a charity of choice that we go and volunteer with, and that we take on some ownership in supporting them. So we believe that amazing things can happen when positive people come together, so we're very excited to have wonderful positive people joining Resolutions and becoming part of this very special community. And what I want to do is just take you through a little bit more of what we do with Resolutions, and also our parent company, H3O, which really our goal is just all about connecting people in more meaningful ways, to be of service to you, to be a resource, to always be positive, and again, to create a greater sense of community, because really your community, your family, those are the foundations of life. So as we continue to build that, we really want to take this whole concept of not just a course that you attend once, but that you do join this chapter, and that you do not only come for supporting yourself, but you come out to support everybody else that's attending as well. So, you know, I always come from a place that you cannot give what you do not have. So that is our place for us to come together and to be positive and to be compassionate and inspirational, and always be a source of hope and confidence and empowerment and all these other great qualities that make life so much richer and help to make us all happier and more effective. And of course, when we can do that for you, you can go back to your family, and I always think the greatest gift you can give your children is a happy, healthy parent. So let's start with you, and make sure you've got it to give, and then let's keep spreading the word. We invite you to invite all your friends to join in, be part of this community, and building more chapters around the world and going global with this. So they're exciting times, and we're excited to have you join us. And we want you to be able to come on into Resolutions on the date that you have scheduled for, in whatever chapter that you're going to be attending, in whatever city you're going to be attending, and be very comfortable to be able to participate. And that's why we're doing this webinar. So what we do is we invite you to come on in and just, you know, especially the first time you attend, be open-minded. We really like to encourage each other to respect each other's time, so being on time is really important, not only to show up in the morning, because we don't want you to miss the setup especially, but also after the breaks and so on as well. Get committed to the program. You're going to get out of it in direct proportion to what you put into it, and it's not just about you coming and sitting there and taking it all in, which you're welcome to, but don't ever forget that you maybe will have some experience or insight that you could share with somebody else that will make a huge difference. There's lots of breakout sessions and opportunities for you to be able to talk. So just remember, you matter and participate. Also, to respect each other's points of views. You're going to have the wonderful privilege of being with a very rich community of people from all walks of life, all cultures, all religions, And we come from a place of everybody has a right to believe whatever they choose to believe, and we don't have to feel threatened or judged by other people's beliefs if they're different than ours. So we just treat other people the way we want to be treated, and that's by showing people respect. And we want to support everybody and really encourage this culture of accepting and respecting each other. It is a confidential place. I do want to make it very clear that we're not one of these programs where we're going to bring you in and talk to you about all your horrible childhood things that happened to you and why you are the way you are. I firmly believe you go in the direction you're thinking, so we're going forward. And we've all got stuff that's happened to us in life, and at some point it only can have as much power as what we choose to give it, and we need to make the decision to take what we've learned from it, be better for it, and forget about the rest, because the past does not dictate your future, so let's not spend a whole lot of time wallowing around in it. Our goal for you is to help you figure out what you want, break it down into bite-sized pieces, and to have you leave with a 90-day action plan. Now, it's really important for you to understand that there's a ton of information in this program, and there's no way you're going to be able to get everything out of it in one time. And that's why re-attending every 90 days becomes so critical. So I hope that you're making the decision right now to not just come out and attend this resolutions program once, but to make it an important part of your life and your support system. And, we're all about making success a habit. And you didn't get the habits you've got in just 90 days. It's going to take more than that. So attending every 90 days, that's why we've made it a deal of a lifetime so that you can reattend for only $75 every 90 days. Take a look at what worked, what didn't, and keep yourself moving forward. So let's get started. If you have any other questions, I suggest that you go ahead and get in touch with the person that registered you, that has already been through it. They'll be able to help you. Or you can contact us at service@htrio.com, and we'll be able to answer any other questions you may have. Also, you will have received by now a confirmation email giving you all of the directions as to when, where. We also have shipped out to you a package, and if you haven't got it already, that's okay. Just make sure that when you do get it, that you do bring along. And if for some reason you don't get it before the event, please contact us again at service@htrio.com, and we'll make sure that we can help you through that. So let's get started with this wonderful thing called self-awareness. We talk about how in order to get anywhere, you got to figure out where you're at. So I just want to throw a quick question out at you. Is if you were granted 3 wishes right now to change something about your life, your situation, what would you choose to change? Now, this is about you, not about your children, not about your family, not about the environment, the community, the world around you. About you, physically, emotionally, spiritually, materialistically. What would you like to have different? It can be something more of, something less of. Is there something you just would like to have go away altogether? So don't overthink this. One of the things we want to do throughout this webinar is we want to start to shake the cobwebs out of your mind and start to create, create some more creativity, get you imagining, dreaming a little bit more, doing some possibility thinking. Because what we're really going to do is we're going to take this wonderful thing called our mind, and we're going to start to jump into the driver's seat and take control of it. Because in the end, it's how you're thinking that's causing you to be getting what you're getting. So taking down your 3 wishes, if you haven't already got your resolutions workbook, then simply grab a note, paper, and pen and write yourself down some notes. And of course, you're probably going to want to watch this several times. And I will share with you, there's a dramatic difference in how people are influenced and how much they get out of the resolutions day that we spend together based on how much preparation time they've done to really give their life some serious thought. So that's why we're doing this a little bit ahead, to give you a little bit more time. So give it all you got, and I'll guarantee you're going to get a lot out of it. Give a little, you're going to get a little out of it. It's all in direct proportion to what you're going to invest. One of the things that I always like to start with this is, as we start taking a look at our goals and where we're at and what we're doing, one of the things I recognize is often we're coming from this place of a deficit mentality. I'm not enough, I don't have enough, and feeling like who am I to be great or make a difference? So some time ago I sat down and I was feeling that way. Who am I? I don't have a university degree. I just have a high school diploma, and I, didn't come from the right side of the track, so to speak, and didn't have all these connections of people. And so I decided to sit down and create this list of people that were people that really had made a big difference in the world, and that I really had to stop and take a look at them. And here's the list of people that I came up with that are so famous that we know who they are by just, first or last name. And that's pretty powerful. Some are still alive, some aren't. But these people created a legacy. And I had to ask myself, what was their education? What was their financial status? What was their social status? In the end, I didn't know, and I didn't care. It didn't really matter, and no one does about you either. It's all about taking what you've got and making the most of it, and I'll guarantee you it'll always be enough. Take a look at this list. We've got, obviously, some people that are well-educated and doctors. We've got some people that I have no clue what their education is. We've got a deaf, dumb, mute. We've got people that have been ostracized and, were put down for just their race, their religion, their color, whatever. And these are people that stood up for something and decided to make a difference. And that's what I'm hoping we'll do with resolutions, is inspire you to stand up for something and recognize you do make a difference. And in order for you to do that, we've got to take a closer look at how our life works and how things are happening. And everything I'm going to share with you right now is already currently taking place. I didn't invent this. So let's take a good look at the basic process. Now, I'm going to just go through this a little bit quick so that we can go through it a little bit more when we're together. But I think you're going to get the right concept. And what I've basically done is taken all these self-help personal development books, and I've taken all the smoke and mirrors and the razzle-dazzle out of it and got it down to the very basics. And here's how it works. We all have a belief system, and from the minute we're born, this belief system is beginning to build based on what we're told, what we hear, what we see, what we experience. And it's kind of like a computer. No two computers are exactly alike. The output of a computer is totally dependent on what the programs have been that have been loaded into it, and that's the way you are too. The way you think, the way you see yourself, your attitudes, your opinions, your feelings, your thoughts, all are based on this belief system, things that you've seen or heard that you have accepted as the truth. And you've got to be very careful with that, because the truth doesn't necessarily mean it is the truth. The other thing to pay close attention to is when we're out looking for things and looking for answers and wanting to learn, we're not out looking for the truth. We're looking for information to support the beliefs we've already got. That's how powerful they are. That's why birds of a feather flock together, is we like to find people that believe like we do. So you're going to take a look even at the community people around you, because they are, again, part of a reflection of what you're believing. Because it's what you're believing that is causing you to think the way you do. And it's the way you're thinking that's causing you to feel or not feel the way you do. And in the end, it's how we're feeling that causes us to act or not act upon what we really want. So if you've ever set a goal that I don't understand, I just can't get motivated, I'm procrastinating, well, that's because of the feelings that are getting created about the beliefs that you have around this. And so we're going to take a closer look at how you can start to manage that. And we actually have learned that we can reprogram our belief system so that we can think different, so that we get different feelings. And when we can get the right feelings and be excited and motivated and passionate and so worth it to us, that the doing actually becomes easy. And I do not believe in this thing called willpower, because that's only going to be what you're going to use to fight against some emotions that you have got. And that means that no matter what, you're always going to go back to the way you were, unless we can recreate a new set of beliefs that are going to cause you to think different, that are going to cause you to feel different, that are going to cause you to do different. So this whole process we're going to get into a whole lot more is to help teach you how to become more aware and more conscious about this, so that you can do it and really own your own owner switch, or your own control panel of the way you are thinking and the way you're acting. One of the big things that we've all heard about is this thing called a comfort zone. And these beliefs that we've had and the way we're thinking are all creating this little box that we live in. And it is this comfort zone, which is really what you believe as your truth about your self-image, who you are. And it serves as this regulator. And it tells you this is too good for you, this is not good enough for you. And you can tell very easily, because when somebody goes and gets put into a situation where maybe they're intimidated, this is too hoity-toity for them, they'll start to feel stressed and uncomfortable, and they just want to get out of there. And same thing if you go into an area that is just way beneath where you're feeling comfortable. And this whole belief system that creates this comfort zone is what causes us to see the world with these limitations that we have. So in the end, we want to take a good look at what your comfort zone is. And remember, if you never move your comfort zone, if you never do anything that makes you a little bit uncomfortable, you're never going to be able to be more, have more, or do more. So we want to teach you how to manage this comfort zone and expand it without scaring the living daylights out of yourself, but keeping yourself growing. So in the end, the process looks like this. You start at the bottom, and it just begins to create this energy as we start to work on our beliefs and our thoughts and our feelings, and in the end, the actions and the success just shoot right out the top and become easy. So you may even want to, as you learn to understand this, say, I want to start to really focus in the middle here on how are my feelings, and then I want to get a hold of why I'm having those feelings, and then I can start to regulate the thoughts and the beliefs that are behind them, and we're going to show you some great techniques around that as well, so that the acting and the doing becomes easy. Now our goal is that we're going to help you put together a strategy, and there is no doubt this is a skill set that we're going to develop, and it may take you, 5 or 6 times to get really good at doing this, but what's most important is you start the process of starting to develop this. In fact, it may seem really hard to you the first time because you're going to have to get some new habits and get yourself out of your comfort zone as to how you're typically going through your days. So this 90-day action plan is really designed to make sure that you're not feeling like you're doing a bungee jump and that you're more taking the stepping stones and breaking it down. So we want to be really clear on what your goal is or your new vision. We want to be very clear on why you want it, because your why factor, your really good reason, your purpose is what's going to make you strong and powerful. It's going to make you really failure resistant. The bigger the why factor, the less likelihood of failure in anything. Then we're going to break it down to the first, second, and third 30 days so that you're starting to really develop something that's going to become a process to you, and that it's gentle and it's kind. We're going to create affirmations. This is a whole skill set all into itself as to how to start to change your self-thought, your thinking, those conversations you're having within your mind. And in order to really shake things up, we want to get you conscious. We want to get you out of this subconscious state. So we're going to get you a new morning and a bedtime ritual so that you're waking your mind up and you're able to see things a lot clearer as to what's around you. And, of course, making sure you got that positive support and reinforcement. So what I want to explain to you now is that's the outcome that we're looking for. And let me tell you, you're going to work hard at this. You're going to give your life some thought. And you're probably going to give more thought to your life in, the one day we've got together than you maybe have in the last 10 years. And isn't it going to be great to take this busy world you're in and just say, leave me alone for a little while. I really need to take responsibility for my being here and make sure I'm doing okay. Because when you're okay, you're going to find everything around you becomes okay. So let's take a closer look at how this is all going to work. You really have this thought thing that creates these feelings. So this thought thing becomes very powerful. And we have 3 levels of thought that are pretty typical for us. And the first one is conscious, of course. This is where we perceive and evaluate. And we know what conscious is. We're highly aware. We're pretty focused in. Next is subconscious. This is where we really have gone into our habits. There's something that we're so comfortable with, we do it in our sleep. We don't even think about it. So when you get up every morning, you're brushing your teeth, doing your hair, getting dressed, whatever, a lot of that is subconscious. Perfect example of that is driving a car. When we're learning and we're trying to figure it out, we're very conscious about it. But the more we do it, we become very comfortable with it, and we do it without even thinking, which makes us subconscious. So that's where that subconscious is really, really powerful, because that's where the truth you have accepted about yourself and what you're doing rests. And we like subconscious. It's easy. We don't have to think about it. But then there's this other little place, and it's called your creative subconscious. And this is the part that takes your beliefs and creates all of your feelings, and it's really designed to protect you. So when you're doing something and all of a sudden it's it's not subconscious anymore. You become aware and you go to a conscious state. And then these feelings start to generate, and you're not really sure why sometimes some of these feelings are coming. But these, this creative subconscious, this tells you who you are, what's too good for you, what's not good enough for you, and it's designed to keep you where you're at. So it, of course, can be very helpful sometimes, but it can also be very, very paralyzing for you to be able to say, hold it, I'm better than this. I deserve more. Just because this is the way I was raised or this is the way I've always been doesn't mean that's where I've got to stay. Now, as we go through this, you're going to recognize, you know, some things that I'm just going to bounce off you, and I don't like getting into a whole lot of the psychological mumbo-jumbo out there, but there's some things that I think are just important to understand. And the first one is this thing called Gestalt psychology, and it's basically the mind's overwhelming need to put things into order. Now, you may be looking at this paragraph that you've seen all over the internet, I'm sure, and you can say, well, look at that, you know, those words are not spelt right and the spelling's wrong, and you won't even bother trying. But if you really take the time and stop and say, no, I'm going to try and read this, you're going to see that your mind actually does not require this order to be able to read it. So just really quickly, is I couldn't believe that I could actually understand what I was reading, The Phenomenal Power of the Human Mind. According to a research at Cambridge University, it doesn't matter what order the letters are or in a word are. The only important thing is that the first and last letter are in the right place. Now, you can go ahead and read the rest of it. But this just goes to show you how our belief system is, how important spelling is. And our mind really doesn't find it important at all. But this is back to that paralyzing. If we sometimes set a goal for ourselves, we can often, due to this Gestalt psychology, is we can often become paralyzed because if I don't know every step of exactly how I'm going to get there, I can't move forward. So we're going to challenge some of that as we're setting new goals. Now, as we're going forward, and we get into this starting line and really getting focused on this new reality, being able to have self-awareness is really critical. And there's a wonderful book called The Winner's Brain that has got some strategies in there of actually how to change the way your brain is wired so that you can become more effective at doing this. And the great thing about this book is that it reinforces everything that we're teaching in the Resolutions program, not just from information saying somebody thinks this. They've actually studied the brain function of how you can change anything about the way you're thinking, the way you're reacting, and really strengthen your mind so that it can be more powerful for you. So we're going to ask you to take a deep breath, get rid of all the outside noise that's happening in your life, and just really get self-aware of where you are at. So I like to ask you a few key questions prior to attending resolutions that I want you to give some thought to. You know, these are real simple, and they don't even have to be this structured. Just really have some insight as to where you're at right now, because knowing where you're at is like finding the starting line to get into the race. If you can't find the starting line, you don't have a chance of getting into the race. So we want you to give some thought about what you want to change in your life. What do you want? Even take a look at what's great about your life. You know, not everything is bad or broken. And what's your greatest accomplishment? And think about that for a bit. What are you good at? What are why are you participating in resolutions? And going right back to our 3 wishes, if you could change something about your life, what would you change? And then just being able to just go what I call free flow, just free thought. Just write out a letter to yourself. You know, if I was to describe my life right now, I would say it's this. And just let your mind go and write out whatever comes. You know, no one's going to ask you to read it. Nobody's going to ask you to turn it in. So this is really for you just to be able to spend some time with yourself thinking and unraveling all this amazing information that's noodling around in your mind so that you can make some sense out of what's really working for you and what's not. At H3O, we work from the standpoint of life balance, which is really about how's your life doing emotionally, physically, and environmentally. So I want to invite you to take a look at these 3 circles. You'll see heart and health, or what's emotional and what's physical. And how are you doing within your own physical being? And then ask yourself the third circle, which isn't connected to the inner two circles, because this is everything outside of your being. How's your community around you? How's your organization, the environment you're living in? Is it helping you or is it hindering you? Because one thing we know is if one of these is out of balance, it's going to cause this domino effect. And it's always important to get to the root cause, because sometimes we've got some physical health challenges going on, and sometimes we're looking and saying, well, I'm feeling a little down, I'm a little depressed. Well, I got news for you. If you're going through some sort of health challenge, then you're going to get some emotional outcome, and you're also going to probably have an influence on the people around you as well. So rather than focusing on, the outcome of perhaps maybe the depression, you're feeling a little down, or what's going around you, let's go back to the root cause, which is getting yourself healthier and taking care of yourself better. Because when you fix that, and then the rest just naturally fix themselves. So we're going to give that some thought too. And as we go through this, continuing to just ask yourself some great trigger questions to live a balanced life. How am I emotionally? How am I physically? How is my environment around me, my relationships, the people? How's that working for me? Also, who's watching you? What's important to you? And am I living my life in a way that's moving me forward? Or am I really feeling stuck? And why am I? So it really gets into just giving some thought. And then I always like to do my I am exercise. So if you just sit down and ask yourself a series of questions. Physically, I am. Emotionally, I am. Financially, I am. And you can see here that there's just a great list of questions that you can ask yourself. You'll find some the answers come really easy. Some you might be surprised to get a little bit stuck on, and that's okay. Don't bully yourself. Don't be frustrated with that. Don't think something's wrong. That's normal. Remember, some of us have been so busy. We've had this switch flipped off for so long that we have totally become uncomfortable with thinking about ourselves and what's really going on within our own lives. So it just seems to be a survival mechanism for some of us. Now, as you're doing this, you're going to discover some beliefs and influences that are really shaping up this comfort zone. And you heard me say earlier that your friends around you and your family, they're all a reflection of your comfort zone. And so you're going to want to give that some thought, and we're going to work a little bit more on this as well. What are the beliefs that are causing you to think the way you're thinking? And cause you to feel the way you're feeling? And who or what is influencing you? So as we're talking about things, and you're doing this thought anyway, you're going to discover some belief systems about money, success, wealth. Some people say, hey, money is the root of all evil. The more I make, the more I spend. You just can never get ahead. Saving is hard. Those are all beliefs, and you can hear them just oozing out of you through your self-talk. So, give some thought to that, but more importantly, pay attention to your thinking, because as you're taking a look at where you're at right now and your self-awareness, some of these thoughts are going to come up, and they are a great way to get a good look and get a little bit further ahead in what we're going to do as to what your beliefs are. Change your beliefs, change your lives, my friends. And, you can take and ask these questions in any different ways. That's one of the things I'll say to you about resolutions is we don't give you the book and go page by page through it. We move around and we bounce around, and the program is never the same twice. We'll take some areas and we'll focus in more, and that's why it's important for you to come back, is because we'll take a different area of the book and we will get more in-depth into it, and that keeps it different each time. And you have a chance to go back and reflect on your answers from the last time, and you're going to see an evolution of yourself, and that gets pretty exciting. I suggest you maybe get yourself some loose leaf paper that's hole punched, so that you can have note paper that you're also keeping in your binder, and you can just keep writing notes to yourself as you go through it. Now, as you're going through this again, let's talk about who or what is influencing you. Who do you talk to? Who do you brainstorm with? Who do you go when you're up or when you're down? And taking a good look at this, because, it's interesting. We're always so concerned about who our teenagers are being influenced by and who they're hanging out with. And we know that you've got to really watch that, because it has a big impact on their behavior. Well, guess what? That never changes. Who you're hanging out with is having a big impact on you. That's why I think resolutions is going to become so powerful for you, is because you're going to get yourself surrounded by people that are moving forward. And when you surround yourself by people that are moving forward, guess what? They influence you to go forward. And that's what we're looking forward to doing, is helping you make success a habit. So we're going to look forward to seeing you out at your chapter. We do want to remind you to bring your notepad and pen or loose leaf paper. If you have received your resolutions package of workbook and products, please bring them along to the program. Also, we suggest you bring a sweater. Sometimes our meeting rooms can have air conditioning or be a little hot or a little cool, so dressing in layers. We do come in business casual, so we want you to be comfortable, but also remember that we are in professional locations, so we want you to feel good. Also, lunch is not included. We used to have lunch included, but we now recognize that people are really needing a break, and it's going to give you an opportunity to get out and get some fresh air, and also give you an opportunity to address whatever nutrition needs you may have. So you may bring lunch or decide to go out and have lunch. You'll have a 1-hour lunch break, and we'll have to make sure that you're back sharp after lunch so we can stay on schedule. We always start at 9 a.m. Sharp, and we end at 5 p.m. So those are the cold notes of what's going to happen, and I guarantee you're going to have a great day, and your life certainly does deserve some time and attention. And I want to congratulate you for recognizing that and for making yourself a priority, because, again, you cannot give what you do not have, and your life is worth at least 4 days a year to be able to sit down and give some serious thought as to how you're doing, where you're going, and how you're going to get there. So on behalf of all of us with Resolutions and here at Home Office with H-Trio, myself, Melanie Hayden-Sparks, we want to say again congratulations on joining us, and we look forward to becoming a wonderful and powerful community of people that not only make a difference for ourselves, but for each other as well and into our communities. So feel free to pass this webinar on to some of your friends to check us out, and I know that this is going to be something that you're going to value for a lifetime. So take care. Feel free to watch this webinar several more times, and keep it fun, and be kind to yourself. Take care.